The third installment of the Uncharted franchise and one of the most anticipated games of the year. No pressure. Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Alright, so as you've seen before, I'm a huge fan of the Uncharted games, everyone knows that. And now we have Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, it's getting like 10 out of 10 score ratings. So in Uncharted 3, you meet up with Nathan Drake again, Victor Sullivan, they're going after the Atlantis of the Sands. Because apparently in Sir Francis Drake's voyage, it took him like 6 months to do something that should have taken him 1, so they're like, something's amiss. Something tells me it's in the Atlantis of the Sands. Real-time Indiana Jones shit, and it is. And of course, when you're Nathan Drake and you're going after a treasure, there are bad people who want to go after the treasure also and make your day a little worse. In this one, it's this bad chick who's totally rich and looks like she'd be played by Helen Mirren if it was a movie, which I'm not gonna lie, am I the only guy who has an attraction to Helen Mirren? It's weird. And this other guy named Talbot. Of course his name is Talbot. Talbot is a villain name. I've never known a good guy in a movie or a game named Talbot. They're always assholes. And of course this guy is an asshole. Now first of all, the gameplay. The gameplay in this game really hasn't added much, but it was like perfect in the second game, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only real mechanic that they have that's new is that when people throw grenades at you, if you push a button at the right time, you'll take the grenade and throw it back at them, which is really useful, I ain't gonna lie. Another cool thing, it's not really a gameplay mechanic, but it's just kind of an animation. When you're beating someone up, sometimes he'll take the grenade on their belt and pull the pin and kick them back, and so the guy just blows up. That's pretty sweet. Other than that, same stuff. You're like spider crawling up walls, because Nathan Drake's apparently the most fit human being on the planet. Popping headshots, looking for treasures, you know, it's classic Uncharted. This is staple Uncharted gameplay, and you know how in the second game there were these moments where it was like a cutscene was happening, but you can play through it. It's just like this action scene and things are crumbling around you. There are a few of those moments in Uncharted 3, and they're the most intense things I've ever played. In the first one, this mansion's like burning to the ground. You saw it in the trailer, and it's just like, it was so real, I'm not gonna lie to you. I could smell the smoke of the fire. Either that or I have a brain tumor and it's amazing and I'm alive right now. Either way, I don't care. It was realistic as hell. And the plane scene from the trailer and the ship scene, like, there are moments where you're like, Nathan Drake just causes bad guys to have a really, really bad day. Like, there's this scene where you're in this huge ship, like this big tanker, and you're walking outside and the camera pans up to show the damage that you've done, and I was just like, Nathan Drake has driven this bad guy to alcoholism. And that's what he does. You know when bad guys have him tied up, it's like, just kill him already, because he is going to burn your empire to the ground and talk shit while he's doing it, because he's Nathan Drake and he's awesome. He's like the man's man. We all want to be Nathan Drake. I mean, some of his friends do tell him, like, dude, what are you trying to prove? Don't go after this, which I really liked also. Because you know when you're going after a treasure or a trinket and people with AK-47s are shooting at you, throwing grenades at you, shooting RPGs at you and trying to kill you and your friends are probably going to be like, you know what? I don't think we should do this anymore. So I'm glad this game addressed that. And the soundtrack in this game is like some of the best game music I've ever heard, like outside of an RPG. RPGs always have the best stuff, but in terms of action game, Uncharted 3, this is really good. Like there's a scene where you're running from people. I don't want to give it away because telling you the context would kind of be a spoiler, but the music that plays when you're running, it's the best. I want that song. I want the soundtrack. It comes out on November 14th or 15th or something like that. I'll get it. Uncharted 3 is like Firefly meets Indiana Jones in modern day, and sometimes it's like that show I Shouldn't Be Alive. Like when you're in the Rubel-Khali Desert, you're like, I shouldn't be alive. And you really feel that. You really feel the isolation of Nathan Drake. It's badass. Now, of course, this is the third chapter of a trilogy, and in that, they delve into some of the past of Nathan Drake, which is awesome. I love seeing that, but that's also kind of where some of my issues with the game are. By even addressing Nathan Drake's past, the game has opened a door in your brain that makes you go, oh, awesome, I want to know more about that. It does show a bit about his past, and you love seeing what you see. You're like, that is cool, I'm glad I saw that. But they tell you there is more to the story, and there are secrets, and you just don't get to know them. That irritated me. And in Uncharted 3, in the first half of the game, you kind of deal with these characters over here, and in the second half, you deal with these characters over here. The two parties never cross, and that's a bummer. Because in Uncharted 2, you had Chloe, you had Elena, you had Victor Sullivan, you had that one dude who would have been played by Bradley Cooper if it was a movie. And you know, there was some tension between some characters, and there was some betrayal, and there was some tension between Chloe and Elena, and that was awesome. The characters really worked well together from start to finish. I loved how they all interacted together, and it all worked. In this game, they kind of felt isolated. It's like, all right, you get these characters here. Second half of the game, you get these characters here. No one really stabs them in the back like in the second game. It doesn't change the fact that in terms of exciting action scene gameplay, Uncharted 3 has some of the best I have ever seen in my life. Sometimes things happen in this game, you're like, I can't believe that happened. That's like the coolest thing that would happen in like some of the biggest budget movies ever. These playable scenes where things are getting destroyed around you, just unmatched. Some people may have a problem with the fact that there's no real end boss fight in this game either. I'm fine with it, but I think some other people might just bitch about it. It might catch you off guard. If you're expecting a big boss fight at the end, you don't get the big boss fight that you got in Uncharted 2. It kind of ends as the story would end. And that's what Uncharted is all about. It's a playable movie. I'm still gonna give it a great score of awesome-tacular. In terms of the multiplayer beta that I reviewed is pretty much the multiplayer. So if you want to see my review of the multiplayer, go ahead and check out my review of the multiplayer that I did like months ago. I'll put a link at the end of this video because I'm there for you. So if you haven't played the Uncharted games, for God's sakes, play the Uncharted games. If you have a PlayStation and you haven't gotten Uncharted 3, why? Get this game, play this game, know this game, love this game. If you don't have a PlayStation 3, just find a friend with a PlayStation 3 and get it. Get the whole series and play it all. Because if you don't, So the Uncharted series, have you played them? What is your favorite Uncharted game? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.